A woman reeking of money like you. Do you really deserve to be the Princess of Li? You've turned the entire estate into a foul, chaotic mess. What have you done to the prince's honorable reputation? My sister, Su Qingwan, was as pure as frost and snow. Back then, she found the Prince of Li too vulgar and eloped with a scholar. But I am more common, so I took my sister's place at the Li estate. In just 1 year, I worked from dawn till dusk, turning this dilapidated estate into a thriving, wealthy household. Even the gatekeeper gets to eat meat 3 times a day now. The Prince of Li used to tell everyone how lucky he was to have Yanci. It is my great fortune, he'd say. Until today, when I was in the middle of my work, my high-minded sister came running back all by herself. My prince, my sister is crude and vulgar. She stains your honorable name. I wish to take over the household management to restore the purity and grace of the estate. All my hard work of the past year. It turns out that great fortune of his was just his great fortune in meeting my sister. This man is too lazy to even pretend anymore. My prince, your throat bobbed quite smoothly just now. And sister, your look is still as practiced as ever. You must have been training that for years, right? All right, that's enough. You just want the power to manage the household, don't you? Fine, take it. But I'll offer you a word of advice, sister. Managing the estate's accounts isn't like reciting your poetry in prose. People could actually starve to death. Su Yanci, you are insolent. The prince is right. Here you go, sister. Oh, and there are 32,743 taels of silver in the vault, along with 12 shops and 4 merchant caravans. The ledgers are all in the 3rd cabinet in the east wing. If you don't understand something, sister, you can come ask me. Of course, you'll have to pay a consultation fee. This redwood and gold dragon decor is so decadent. No wonder the estate feels so stifling. Have it all torn down within 3 days. Replace it all with Hetian jade carvings, and have 3 cranes carved into the jade to highlight the purity of the prince's estate. Sister, do you have any idea how much a piece of Hetian jade costs? Tearing down all these rosewood golden dragons and replacing them with Hetian jade would cost at least another 5,000 taels. 5,000 taels could feed everyone in this estate meat for 3 years. Sister, this is called refinement. This is called burning money. How could the prince's estate possibly be short on that amount of money? That is right, eldest miss. We have always had the second miss in charge of the household management, with all expenses for food and clothing under her supervision. This money, the authority of the prince's estate, is actually managed by a crude woman like Su Yanci. Su Yanci, where do you put the prince in your eyes? Samoan, hand the keys to the princess's treasury to this young lady. Consider it done. This person is serious. Such a heavy scent of copper. Truly the root of this decadent obsession, the glint that flashed in sister's eyes. That was not some noble sense of disgust. It was greed. So the one who turned the prince's estate into this place of decadence, the source of the corruption is right here. For the sake of her own indulgence, Su Yanci disregarded the prince's clarity and reputation. What are her true intentions? From now on, everything in the estate shall be under your management. Give all the money, people, land, and businesses to Qingwan. Please, Your Highness, divorce me. Your Highness, if my younger sister continues to stay here, she will only tarnish the atmosphere of the prince's estate. Let her go out and venture on her own. Perhaps she might even improve. Granted. Your Highness, before I depart, I have a final word for you. Speak. I hope the prince and his sister can use their refined moonlight to conjure up some silver to fill their stomachs. After all, refinement cannot be eaten, but my account books can. Crude, have you heard? She was divorced and her mind is entirely on money. Unlike her sister, who has a proud backbone. He deserves to have his white moonlight. I have my own vast world. Our paths are different. There is no need to pretend we are heading the same way. I arrived at the Yu Prince's mansion where I once had an engagement. My lady, why are you? I am no longer the Princess of Li. Go and inform your prince. Tell him the second daughter of the Su family requests an audience. Your Highness, does the original marriage contract still hold? He remains silent for a long time. Marrying a woman who has been cast aside is hardly a glorious affair for a prince. It counts, Your Highness. Have you thought this through? I have been cast aside once. My sister once fled our wedding, shaming you in the process. Are you certain you still want me? I know, but that was your sister. Not you, these words of yours. stirred something in me. But it wasn't my heart that was stirred. It was my wariness. I have never trusted the words of men since I was young. When my father scolded me for being obsessed with money, he was still clutching the hand warmer I had bought him. When my younger brother called out sister, his eyes were fixed on the snacks in my hands. Xiao Jiai's words may sound sweet, but who knows if they are true. However, it doesn't matter. I am not looking for his true heart. I want the authority of his prince's mansion. Then I thank you, your highness. From now on, I shall ensure everyone in the mansion is well-fed and well-clothed. Do you truly love business so much? Does your highness dislike it? I just feel that for a woman. Why work so hard? Although the mansion is not wealthy, I can still afford to support you. Your highness, let me ask you a sincere question. Do you truly favor me? Or do you simply find me easier to deal with than my sister? You need not answer, your highness. I know the truth in my heart. Let us be clear with each other to avoid disputes later. You grant me the status of a princess and give me the freedom to conduct business. As for me, I will turn your prince's mansion. Make this the wealthiest estate in the entire city. As for anything else, if you fancy me, your highness, I shall be grateful. If you do not, that is also fine. I am not a greedy person. I take things as they come. You really are different from your sister. That I am. My sister is an immortal in heaven, and I am a mortal on earth. Immortals don't need to eat, but mortals must. If you want to live a good life, your highness, you'll be well off following my lead. Xiao Jiyi tacitly agreed to all my arrangements. Not long after, a two-story building was added to the somewhat dilapidated Prince Yu's estate. I didn't just run businesses. I also offered the highest wages in the capital, the best food, and the most humane vacation policy. Once word got out, the applicants nearly trampled the threshold of Prince Yu's estate. Can you handle accounts? Are you strong? Are you willing to learn? Next. Your highness, I don't know how to do anything. I only know how to farm. But my son is sick, and we have nothing to eat at home. Could you please be kind and help? Old man, why are you crowding in? This is for hiring workers, not for beggars. Wait, you don't know anything else. Can you clean? Yes, I can. Here is an advance on your wages. Go get medicine for your son first. Report for work in 3 days. You'll be responsible for cleaning the backyard. You'll get your full monthly pay. And if you do a good job, there will be bonuses. Don't kneel, please don't kneel. I don't go in for that sort of thing. Doing your job well is the greatest thanks you can give me. Why are you so generous to those servants? My lord, what do you consider treating someone well, paying them high wages, and providing advance payments? My lord, do you know why the Li Manor has been earning so much money this past year? Because the gatekeeper gets to eat meat 3 times a month. He doesn't just watch the gate for you. He also keeps an eye out for troublemakers and watches for anyone trying to steal. When the kitchen staff gets to eat meat, they don't want to leave. They'll find ways to save you firewood and ingredients. When the staff is paid more than others, they work their hearts out, terrified of losing their jobs. My lord, people have hearts made of flesh and blood. If you treat them well, they will treat you well in return. You're right. After I took charge of the Yu Manor, I opened new sources of income and reduced expenses. Our businesses gradually flourished, and the manor grew increasingly prosperous. Xiao Zhiyi consequently gained more influence at court, and was granted an audience with the emperor. I accompanied him in my capacity as Princess Yu. In the palace corridors, I happened upon Empress Du Ninghua. You are different from Su Qingwan. Your majesty is too kind. The women in this palace are mostly full of high-minded pretensions. They possess a bit of cleverness, but use it all on palace intrigue. What is rare is someone who can balance the books and keep people's hearts steady. Focus on your work, and if you ever reach a desperate state, you may come looking for me. Princess, there is trouble at the Li Manor. Without the incentive of money, people won't be obsessed with earning more. Only then can one maintain a person's highest, most noble spirit. He is still at the gates of the Li Manor, hanging your portrait up as a negative example with the words written underneath. This person is vulgar. Avoid her example. He is trying to smear your reputation. Let him smear it. He is only paying them 1 copper coin a month. Ha ha, I'd like to see how long his nobility lasts. But he says this is all because you spoiled the servants in the past. Now he has to set them straight. Then let him set them straight. By the way, are we still hiring? We are. You've always been hiring. Good. Next time you're near the Lai Prince's mansion, go hang around. If you see anyone who wants to leave, bring them straight over here. The pay stays the same and the profit sharing stands. That is a brilliant move, princess. What is so brilliant about it? This is called fighting fire with fire. He wants to be high-minded. Let him be high-minded. In any case, I'm not the one who will be going hungry. Sure enough, it didn't take long before the Li Prince's mansion ground to a halt. It wasn't that there was no one to do the work, but the people who did the work refused to do it. For the sake of her elegant renovation project, Su Qingwan tore out all the redwood and gold dragons. She replaced them with Hetian jade, and on that Hetian jade she had cranes carved. Carving one crane costs 2 taels of silver. Young mistress in this household, hundreds of cranes have already been carved. The silver is pouring out like water. So what about the silver? What of it? Is the prince's mansion lacking a little silver? Young mistress, the silver in this mansion was all earned by the second young mistress through hard work, day in and day out. If you keep spending like this, we won't last 3 months. Pay us 1 copper coin a month, and you only give us a bowl of thin porridge a day. Are you trying to dismiss beggars? My mother is already sick from hunger. Is this how your mansion treats its servants? That gold and jade earring you're wearing alone could pay all of our wages. What right do you have to treat us like this? Take off those earrings and trade them for money. Strip off those clothes and jewelry from last night and trade them for money. How dare you? The imperial decree has arrived. His Majesty is here. The Lai Prince's mansion highly appreciates the Lai Princess's elegant renovation project. His Majesty has graciously bestowed these gold and silver jewels. We thank His Majesty for his great kindness. Take this, it should cover your wages for a few months. If you don't get back to work and delay the operations of the prince's estate, don't blame me if you lose your heads. See, my management strategy was correct after all. If it weren't for that wretch, Su Yanci, paying those insolent servants so much in the past, how could they have developed such a money-grubbing attitude? Even His Majesty admires the princess's refined taste. The princess's own family are scholars after all. That Su Yanci is so obsessed with money. It is a disgrace to the Su family name. Starting today, 1 copper coin a month. Let's make that 1 copper coin every 2 months. Su Yanci spoiled these people with bad habits, so I'll just have to fix them. 1 copper coin every 2 months. My sister is really something else. Who does she think she is? Guanyin, the Bodhisattva. Does she think people can live on thin air? If this goes on, the prince's estate is bound to descend into chaos. Let it be chaotic. I was the one who earned the money for the estate anyway. Once she spends it all, she'll be the one in trouble. What does that have to do with me? Are you really not bothered at all? Bothered by what? After all, that money was my prince. How can you say that? It's as if I'm expected to care. It's true that I earned the money, but that was the estate's money. I didn't take a single cent when I was cast aside. How he spends it now is his business. If they go hungry after spending it all, that is just their own fault. You certainly have a way of letting things go. My prince, do you know what these eyes have seen since I was a child? I saw my father scold me for being obsessed with money. While clutching the hand warmer I bought him tightly, I saw my mother say I only cared about wealth. While wearing the silk I bought her out, to show off everywhere. My brother would call me second sister so sweetly, while snatching my snacks at the same time. So I realized long ago that some people, no matter how well you treat them, they still think it is their due. And if you don't treat them well, they'll turn around and curse you. It is just not worth it. Su Yanci, have you ever thought that you actually see things much more clearly than your sister does? Is the prince complimenting me? If so, then thank you, Your Highness. But Your Highness, don't be too quick to praise me. I'm the type who understands everything, but has a sharp tongue. If I offend you later on, please don't hold it against me. I won't. Hey, eldest miss. We're out of rice if we're out. Go buy some, but we're out of silver. Where is the silver, eldest miss? The expenses these past 2 months have been too high. Buying Hetian jade cost 8,000 taels, carving the cranes cost 3,000 taels, and renovating the garden cost 5,000 taels. Enough anymore. Then sell some things. Sell whatever we aren't using. Exchange them for silver, eldest miss. Do we even have anything in this manor that we're not using? Haha, reporting, eldest miss. A new business just opened in the east of the city. Their business is doing incredibly well. I heard it was opened by the Princess of Su Yanci, so it was her. It was me. I knew someone obsessed with money like her wouldn't stay quiet. Let's go take a look. Smash it to pieces. Sister, what are you doing? Su Yanci, how dare you ask? Look at what you've done to these people. What I've done, sister. Why don't you explain it? The Su shop, how have I harmed them? You give them money. You give them so much money. The Su shop, you let them eat well and dress well. You've turned them into greedy, lazy people. They were honest, poor people before. You've spoiled them to this point. Now they won't even do an honest day's work. And you have the nerve to ask, sister, how can you say that? It sounds as if my paying them is hurting them. Then why don't you tell me how I should treat them? Like you do? 1 copper coin every 2 months. Making them work on empty stomachs. Forcing them to serve you in tattered clothes. What? What? Sister, just look at them. There are still patches on their trousers. Now look at my people. Some of them are even wearing jade bracelets. What makes you think I'm hurting them? What are you all staring at? Stand at attention, all of you. Grand opening of our new shop. Hiring 5 shop assistants and 10 managers. 3 taels of silver a month plus commission. Employees are eligible for profit sharing. I want to sign up. Me too. I'm going. You insolent, base commoners. That is enough. That is enough. All of you, come over here. Now escort the princess consort of Li back to her manor. And while you're at it, tell the others at your manor that my hiring policy is let go. Let go, you scoundrels. How dare you betray me? I am the one who hired you. Stop this. You base creatures, how dare you? This man, who just days ago seemed to live more sensibly than his sister. This man who allowed me to manage his household. This man I thought might truly be different. Is currently looking at me as if I were trash. My wife has been poorly disciplined and has offended my imperial sister-in-law. She deserves to be punished. At least there is one sensible person in your household. Just now. Anything Su Yanci said is now void. Those who just applied to work for Su Yanci, stay behind and receive 30 strokes of the cane. Xiao Ji. Oh, please have mercy, my lord. We never dare to work for Princess Yu ever again. Not in this lifetime. Have mercy, Xiao Ji. On what grounds? Princess, don't go there. Doesn't your highness realize? Prince Yu has been in love with your sister since they were children. Since they were children, the one he loved was her. So when he agreed to it back then, it wasn't because of me. And his kindness toward me later was just because I was her sister. So from start to finish, I was nothing more than a shadow. You can cross anyone, but you should never have crossed him. As of today, we are no longer husband and wife. Ha ha ha. Good, because I have no desire to be your princess anymore either. Do you know? I actually thought you were different from your brother, but look at you. You're even more pathetic than he is. What did you say? I said you're pathetic. You love my sister. Fine, if you love her, then go after her. If you can't have her, fine, use me as a replacement. But at least do a good job pretending. You couldn't even keep the act up for long before showing your true colors. You call this love? You call this being pathetic? What about me? I'll remember that slap you gave me. But don't worry, I don't hate you. I only hate that you wasted my time. Xiao Juri, let's just go our separate ways. I don't even want to stay in your pathetic estate anymore. Su Yanci, in just half a year, I've received 2 divorce decrees. That might just be a record in the entire capital. Prince Yu didn't try to ruin me the way Prince Lai did. He threw half the family assets at me. With that money, I opened a shipping route and started trading by water. I couldn't hire anyone in the capital. Xiao Jiri and those 30 lashes. An example made to cow the rest. So I looked elsewhere. I offered the highest wages. Slowly, the business started to pick up again. Meanwhile, over at Su Qingwan's end, nobody would work for her, even for a single coin in 2 months. The businesses were drying up. So he got desperate. Seize it for me. I don't need you to matchmake. What are you doing, sister? What am I doing, Su Yanci? Stop playing dumb. If it weren't for you being here throwing money around and disrupting the order, how could the prince's estate businesses be failing? Buying people's hearts with money. You've disgraced the Su family's good name. Don't you dare try to line your own pockets. Sister, me, lining my own pockets? The money I earned, I brought back from Jiangnian with my own hard work. The money you earned, sister, is by robbing me. Between us, who is actually lining their pockets? Hold them down. Do it. Sister, why must you insist on acting against me? Sister, do you know what this is called? This is called robbery, but it doesn't matter. Go ahead and rob me. I just wonder if you can handle the consequences. You can't afford to, let alone you. Guards, burn this merchant ship. So Su Yanci can never stir up trouble with trade again. Who dares? Sister, you've got some nerve. You even dare to loot the emperor's goods. Impossible. This is impossible. Impossible. You must have forged the lantern, spreading treacherous lies. Guards, take her. Sister, do you know what a royal merchant is? I'm conducting business for the royal family. This shipment I'm transporting consists of New Year's gifts for the palace. The goods you just robbed, sister, belong to His Majesty. You plotted to frame me. I plotted to frame you. Sister, you brought people here yourself. You were the one who gave the order to rob. I haven't even reported you for robbery yet. Yet you're accusing me of framing you first? Guards, Su Qingwan and Prince Yao Jie robbed the tribute meant for His Majesty. Defiant and treasonous, deceiving the throne, drag them to the prison. It is not what it seems. It is all just a misunderstanding. Su Yanci, you despicable wretch. You set me up. I want to see His Majesty. There has been a mistake in this matter. Take your time, Your Highness. Princess, oh no. My lady, are you not happy? Do you think I should be? But they stole our cargo and beat you, yet now they've been arrested. They've been arrested. And then what? My parents will come and cause a scene to save me. My younger brother will come and raise a ruckus. In the end, this case will likely just be swept under the rug. Because Xiao Juyi is a prince, and Su Qingwan is my sister. The imperial family cares about their reputation. The Su family cares about their face. Eventually, they'll have to find someone to take the fall. Just as I expected. The emperor has many sons. Xiao Juyi is not favored, but he is a prince nonetheless. They'll lock him up for a few days for appearances, then let him go. My parents will pull strings everywhere for Su Qingwan and use money to get her out of prison. In the end, I will be the one to take the blame. The charge will be failing to protect the emperor's tributes, allowing Su Qingwan and Xiao Zhi to seize them. As punishment, my status as an imperial merchant will be given to Su Qingwan. Overnight, she will become the wealthiest woman in the entire country, and my savings from all these years will be taken by my parents to bail her out. My shops, my trade caravans, and my people will all belong to Su Qingwan. Besides my own life, I will have nothing left. I know that Xiao Jing'an and Xiao Zhi have the backing of the imperial house, and Su Qingwan has the Su family to catch her if she falls. Relying solely on my own strength, I might win for a moment, but I cannot win for a lifetime. To firmly stand my ground, I must find a patron who can stand up to them. The Empress. She secretly supports merchants to help ease the palace's expenses. Go investigate the Empress's recent movements. He has endured for over 20 years. We share a common enemy. The reason His Majesty let this slide this time is because Prince Li Xiao Jing'an and your parents sent over a dozen beautiful concubines to the emperor. Things have come to this. Neither you nor I have a way out. I will give you some travel money. Leave the capital and settle down somewhere else, and never come back. Your Majesty, do you truly believe there is no way out? Do you really think a mere girl can shake the foundation of the imperial merchant? What if the emperor were also gone? Do you know what you are saying? Your Majesty, I am perfectly clear. I am clear. It was you who pleaded for me, which is why I am still alive. If you wish to take this life back now, I, Wan San, have no regrets. But if you are willing to take a gamble, you only need to provide me with 300 taels. I promise that in the future the whole world will belong to the Empress. They will be yours. 300 taels of Su Inkstone. Don't make me regret this. Please sit tight, Your Majesty, and wait for the good news. On the day I left the palace, I didn't return to the Su family. A daughter like me, reeking of copper and coin, would only be an eyesore to them. I took the 300 taels and headed south. Before leaving, I sent word to my parents your daughter is unfilial and has gone out to make her own way. Take care, mother and father. Your mother told you never to return. The Su family cannot afford such shame. During those 6 months in the south, I tasted almost every bit of the world's cold indifference. When I first arrived in Suzhou, I rented a broken-down room, hoping to start with small business. The landlady was a kind-hearted old woman. She smiled and brought me a bowl of tea. I drank it, and when I woke up, the money was gone, and so was she. I hadn't even warmed those 300 taels in my hands yet, and they were gone, miss. Why are you smiling, ma'am? I've been robbed. Then why aren't you crying? Why are you smiling? What good does crying do? Can crying bring the money back? Oh, come, have something warm and tell me slowly. So I told her everything, from the substitute marriage to being cast aside, from Prince Yu to the imperial merchant, from the 300 taels to getting cheated. After listening, the old lady fell silent for a long time. Then she asked if I wanted to make a comeback. Her son worked on the boats at the docks, and she introduced me to him. I agreed without a moment's hesitation. I started by hauling cargo and keeping accounts at the docks, earning money to survive. More importantly, I learned the canal trade routes and understood the best commodities and price margins in each region. Once I saved up 50 taels, I bought raw silk in Huzhou, had it dyed at a workshop in Suzhou, turned it into satin, and sold it to northern merchants. By leveraging precise and timely market intelligence, I made a very substantial profit. Once I had 100 taels, I started hiring people and renting boats for canal shipping, preparing to trade in bulk. When I had saved 1,000 taels, I opened my first shop. 6 months later, I had 12 shops, 3 trade caravans, and a bank. That original 300 taels had multiplied more than 100-fold. Boss, someone is here to see you. Who? They say he is your younger brother. Oh, second sister. Isn't this my little brother? What wind blew you here? Second sister, I came here specifically to see you, to see me back when I left. Didn't you say that mom told me to never come back, that the Su family couldn't afford the disgrace? Second sister, she was just saying that in anger. Please don't take it to heart. Mom and dad actually miss you quite a bit. Oh, and how exactly do they miss me? Do they miss me as a person, or do they miss my money? Tell me. Why are you here? Something happened at home. Eldest sister, she can't keep the business running. What about the emperor? Keep talking about eldest sister. She changed all the rules of the trading firm. She is pushing this barter system nonsense, and she has banned the use of gold and silver. Now the trade routes are all blocked, and the flow of goods has come to a standstill. The 500,000 sets of winter clothing requested by the border, she is already a month late in delivering them. The emperor is furious, absolutely livid. He gave eldest sister a vicious tongue lashing. She is running around in a panic now, scrambling everywhere but can't find any goods. So, well, second sister, you've become so successful in the Jiangyan market. Don't you have the goods? If you could provide this batch and save the family from this crisis, Sister Qingwan certainly wouldn't treat you unfairly. Ha ha ha, what are you laughing at, second sister? I'm laughing at you, Su Cheng'an. Are you truly that stupid or just playing dumb? She snatched my imperial merchant status, took away all my assets, and forced me to leave my home. Now that she is in trouble, you want me to save her? On what grounds? Because she robbed me, harmed me, and humiliated me. Second sister, you can't say it like that. Then how should I say it? Su Cheng'an, the thumb ring you're wearing, I'm the one who gave it to you, right? Back when you were kidnapping me, that was exactly the ring you had on your finger. You wear the gift I gave you, while you bind me up and rob me of my money. Su Cheng'an, how do you have the gall to ask me to save Su Qingning? Second sister, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. If Sister Qingwan is in trouble now, and you refuse to lend a hand, I'll make sure to tell father and mother when I return. And while I'm at it, I'll tell them how much I've suffered in Jiangnan these past 6 months, how many times I've been cheated, and tell them, when I was being robbed, being scammed, and being kicked out of my shop, where were they? They were busy running favors and spending money for Su Qingwan. Now they want to come looking for me. It is too late, see them out. I didn't give it a second thought. Someone like that isn't worth my energy. Su Qingwan's barter policy had been in effect for half a year. The result was severed trade routes, severe shortages of supplies, and public outrage. As for the winter clothes requested by the frontier, Su Qingwan kept delaying it. The soldiers at the front line were freezing and ready to mutiny, almost to the point of rebellion. The emperor couldn't sit still anymore. 2 months later, I returned. and I didn't come back empty-handed. I brought a caravan, 12 ships full of goods, and a new imperial merchant token given to me by the Empress. For the past 6 months, the Empress and I had been corresponding. She handled things in the palace, and I developed my business in Jiangyan, coordinating from inside and out. But I never expected that as soon as I docked, I'd be taken to a cell by the Emperor's men. So I heard your firm has the goods. Is your Majesty here to personally interrogate this humble subject? Enough talk. 500,000 sets of winter clothing. Can you provide them? What does your Majesty intend to offer in exchange? Are you threatening me? I would never dare, your Majesty. I only wish to remind you of one thing. My goods belong to me. If your Majesty wants them, you must trade something for them. If your Majesty wants them, you must provide something in exchange. Nothing in this world comes for free. I am the Emperor. If there is something I desire, I shall simply take it. Do you truly believe you can stop me? Your Majesty can certainly take them by force. But have you considered the consequences? What will you trade for the loyalty of your soldiers? If your Majesty sends men to transport these goods, you will need people to do the work, won't you? Those porters and boatmen currently recognize only the wages I pay them, not your imperial decrees. If your Majesty forcibly conscripts them, they will simply refuse to work. What will you do then? If you behead them all, who will be left to get the job done? Furthermore, regarding those soldiers, they have been freezing for so long and starving for half a year. Now that the supplies are here, how do you intend to distribute them? By Su Qingwan's method of bartering again. Your Majesty, do you think that the moment you distribute them, someone will sell the goods off just to trade for food and survive? Your Majesty, I am not threatening you. I am merely telling you that I am the only one who can navigate this path right now. If you trust me, I can help you deliver this shipment safely and effectively to the frontier. If you do not trust me, then you may find another way. What do you want? I do not ask for much. First, your Majesty must recognize the banknotes I issue. Second, allow my firm to open branches throughout the country. Third, restore my status as an official imperial merchant. My lady, those were clearly your goods. Why reward her for them? It says here that Su Qingwan showed great administrative skill and was well prepared, securing the necessary supplies, contributing greatly to the frontier troops. This is absolutely outrageous. Let him have his moment of pride. My lady, I don't understand. We put in so much effort. Why are we just handing the credit to him? The higher they climb, the harder they fall. Some things don't need explaining. Reality will teach him a lesson for me. Half a month later, the Li prince's estate had completely collapsed. Su Qingwan was smug with the emperor's commendation, but within days, reality dealt her a harsh blow. The soldiers at the frontier were well fed and warm, but the capital's economy was in shambles. Soldiers needed their pay. Officials needed their salaries. Yet silver had been banned by Su Qingwan. The emperor was furious. He issued a decree abolishing the barter system and restoring the circulation of silver. But it was already too late. After more than half a year of chaos, the people had lost faith in the imperial court. Everyone only trusted one thing: the paper money I issued. It could buy grain, fabric, and pay wages. Over time, my paper money became more useful than imperial silver. The emperor could no longer sit still. Su Yanci, what exactly do you want? That is a strange question to ask, your Majesty. This humble subject wants for nothing. Your paper money is more useful than my imperial silver. Your trading firms are spread across the country, and your banks control half the money in circulation. And you say you want nothing. Your Majesty, may I ask you a question? How did the Empress's first child die all those years ago? That year, your Majesty had just ascended and your new favorite was pregnant to ensure that her child would be the eldest son. Your Majesty had someone bring the Empress an abortifacient. Once says she drank that medicine. The Empress's child was lost, and your Majesty's eldest son was born. You are insolent. Do not be so hasty, your Majesty. I have not finished yet. The Empress and your Majesty were childhood sweethearts. How could she not have known what was in that bowl? But he didn't say a word. He endured it for over 20 years. Why do you think he did that, your Majesty? He did it for this realm. He knew that if he fought back, the court would be in turmoil. The common people would suffer. So he endured. He waited for you to slowly grow old. Waited for those new favorites to lose your favor one by one, and waited for his own son to come of age. Do you know, your Majesty, why the Empress has been sparing no effort to help me? Because I promised her that all the wealth of this land would eventually be the foundation for her son. This land is destined to be his. Your Majesty, it is time for you to rest. Ha ha ha. Du Ninghua, I underestimated you. Su Yanci, you have won. Safe travels, your majesty. By the decree of the crown prince, all barter mandates are hereby abolished. Silver currency is to be restored. Imperial merchant Su Yanci is to be commended. Award the protector of the realm plaque to the firm. Su Qingwan is stripped of her imperial merchant status. Prince Li Xiaojing'an is stripped of his title. He is demoted to a commoner. Prince Yu Xiaojiayi is exiled 3,000 miles away. Miss. Did you hear that? Xiao Jing'an has been demoted. Xiao Zhiyi has been exiled. Su Qingwan is nothing now. We won. Yes, I heard. Miss, your great vengeance is fulfilled. Why don't you look happy at all? Do you know where they are exiling Xiao Jiayi to? I heard it is the Northwest. The Northwest is bitter and cold. That journey alone will be a hardship for him. But that is good. Let him taste what it is like to have no money. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for all his wealth. I heard it was all confiscated before the exile. What a waste of all those antiques and paintings. They were worth a lot of money. Ma'am, there is someone outside asking to see you. Who is Prince Li? Oh wait, now it is just commoner Xiao Jingyan. Oh my, your highness, what are you doing? Get up, please get up. I am but a humble commoner. I cannot accept this. Yanci, it was my fault. Your fault, your highness. I shouldn't have divorced you. I shouldn't have listened to Su Qingwan's deception. When you were there, the manor lacked for nothing, and the business flourished. Yanci, I have been living in a dream. In the dream, you are still with me. We have children, and we live like immortals. Stop right there, your highness. You make it sound like we were so deeply in love back then. In a year of marriage, how many times did you ever praise me? How many times did you ever look me in the eye? Now that your manor has fallen, you suddenly remember me. Yanci, I am most disgusted by this face you show me. When Su Qingwan first appeared, you didn't hesitate to divorce me. Now that she has lost, you come running here to kneel and beg me. Don't you have any shred of self-respect? See him out. Yanci, please forgive me just this once. Ma'am, are you really not going to soften your heart at all? Why should I soften my heart? He is your former husband after all. Former husband, don't call him that. I earned money for him for a whole year, and he repaid me with a divorce letter. A deal like that, only a fool would make it twice. Yanci, I'm sorry, I have been in love with your sister for many years. I married you only because you looked like her. I thought that by marrying you, I could be closer to her. But later I realized that you were better than her. Your Highness, it sounds like you're trying to compliment me. I am complimenting you sincerely. You were better than her. Better than him, truly better than him. But I realized it far too late. It is quite late. Half a year too late. My lord, once you go, you may never return from the Northwest. I know. Is there anything else you wish to say? Yanci, what I owe you, I cannot repay in this lifetime. In the next life, I shall serve you like a beast of burden to repay you. My lord, I care not what you do in your next life. What you owe me in this life, I have kept account of. However, you may rest easy. I do not hate you. That you loved my sister is merely because you were neglected in the palace since childhood. That year when you were gravely ill and nearly did not survive, a bowl of red bean porridge saved half your life. But that day my sister was just passing by. It was I who gave you that porridge. I was wrong to think it was truly all a mistake. Ha ha ha, go now, leave. The time has come. Yanci, take care. My lady, are you not feeling sad at all? He looked rather pitiful. What is there to pity about him? He enjoyed the luxuries of a prince for over 20 years. Now he is merely going to the Northwest to suffer for a few years. During those years I suffered. Whoever pitied me? Mother, father, why have you come? My place here smells quite heavily of copper and commerce. I wouldn't want it to taint you both. Su Yanci, you, what about me? If you have come here to scold me, then say your piece and leave. I am quite busy. Yanci, How have you become like this? Mother, that is a strange thing to say. As if I were ever that filial in the past. I have always been this way. You simply never saw it. Yanci, mother knows you are angry. But, Qingwan is your sister. You surely cannot just stand by and watch her suffer. What has happened to my sister? After she was demoted, she was left homeless, living in a dilapidated temple. And your brother has met with trouble too. What happened to my brother? Chang'an, in order to bail out Qingwan, he spent all the money in the family. Latter, we heard you had made a fortune in Jiangnan, so he intended to go and rely on you. But he ran into bandits on the way and was slashed. Now he's lying at home with no money for treatment. Yanci, mother, I know we treated you poorly before, but Chang'an is your own brother. You can't just sit by and do nothing, can you? You have so much money, just take a little to save him. Mother, do you know why Chang'an came to Jiangnan to find me? Do you even know what he came here to do? I don't know. He came to rob me. He wanted to force me to transfer my firm over to him. If it weren't for the people the Empress sent to follow me in secret. I would have been killed by him long ago. Do you know how much I suffered in Jiangnan during those 6 months? My money was stolen, I was cheated. My shop was trashed. There were several times I barely survived. Where were you all during that time? You were busy pulling strings and spending silver for Su Qingwan. You bailed her out and gave her the royal trading qualifications. And me, I had nothing. Su Yanci, now that Chang'an is in trouble, only now do you remember me. You are too heartless. I'm heartless, father. The clothes you're wearing were bought by me, weren't they? The hairpin on mother's head was a gift from me, right? You wear my clothes and use my gifts while calling me heartless. What kind of hearts do you people have? Simone, see them out. And send for a good doctor to go see my brother. I will pay for the consultation and the medicine, but nothing else. Don't come looking for me again. Consider it as if the Su family never had a daughter like me. Miss News just arrived. Young Master Su Chang'an didn't make it. The doctor said that knife wound was too deep. It was left for too long. Before he passed, he asked someone to leave you a message. He said, "Second sister. Sister, I'm sorry. Miss, do you want to go see him? No? Mother, focus on recovering. Yanci, I have failed you. Yanci, do you hate us? I don't. It is not worth the energy. Miss, the 2 elders of the Su family have been buried. Everything was done according to your wishes, laid to rest in the Su family ancestral grave. Everything has been handled. I see. Anything else? Su Qingwan passed away from illness not long after she started living in the ruined temple. I heard no one came to claim her. In the end, the bailiffs threw her into the potter's field. Miss, should we send someone to collect her remains? No need. Why not? All her life, she cared most about her reputation and her status. If she knew that it was my money that paid for her burial, she'd probably come back to life just to be furious. I happened to see the general store opened by Xiao Jing'an. When he looked up and our eyes met, he offered a bitter smile, then slowly lowered his head. Later, I heard he moved away to another region, and there was no more news of him. Miss, some news just arrived. Xiao Zhiyi did not survive the journey into exile. He passed away, miss. He's gone. Shall I go outside the city and burn some paper offerings for him? No need. Why? A lifetime's debts have been settled. In the next life, we walk our separate paths. Su Yanci, have you ever had any regrets in this life? Regrets about what? Regretting marrying the wrong person. Regretting being cast aside. Regretting being betrayed by your own family? My lady, this humble woman's only regret in this life is not having realized the truth sooner. I used to think that, as long as I worked hard enough and was sensible enough, my parents would eventually see my worth. Only later did I discover some people don't just fail to see it. They simply have no desire to see it, and it never even crosses their minds. His heart only had room for that one person. No matter how good you are, it is useless. So, have you figured things out now? I have. Instead of hoping others will notice my worth, I'd rather make sure I live well. What do you want from now on? Power and status. Actually, I don't want any of that. I just want the ledgers to balance, the goods to circulate, the common people to have money to spend, and the world to have grain to eat. As for where I belong, I am my own sanctuary. My lady, you are the wealthiest woman in the world now. Why do you still work yourself so hard? Just because I'm rich, I should stop doing the accounts. Just because I'm rich, I should stop working. What is going on inside that head of yours? I can't win an argument against you. The most precious things in this world aren't frost or snow, but the refusal to cling to others, the refusal to bow, the refusal to settle, and the refusal to forgive those who owe me. What is owed can stay owed. I have already obtained what I wanted. Love and hate shall drift away with the wind, and all debts are wiped clean. For the rest of my life, I will only calculate the accounts before me and only live the life in my own hands.